captain by a hook with a red beard. Captain by a hook with a red beard.
Oh yeah, it's madness time, baby. Tips off. Everybody says tonight. Uh, I don't think so. I don't think the madness starts until Wednesday. Psych. Thursday. Sorry, I was reading Wednesday as I was talking. Madness does not start until Thursday. I've never wrapped my head around these games Tuesday and Wednesday mattering. Now I will say this: tonight I'm gonna be geeked up to watch some Colorado State and Virginia. Also, I'm going to be geeked up for the NIT tournament. I will touch on both. I'll touch on the NIT briefly. I do have 3 bets for tonight in the NIT. I'm sure all you guys are like, huh? The National Invitational Tournament? I love it. Love the NIT. Love the history of the NIT. Believe it or not, it used to be the tournament for the championship, the National Invitational Tournament. However, money got involved. A bunch of people came over here in a circle and said, "We can get more money if we more money if we more money if we start our own." Of course, those people had the knowledge, power to get TV deals, sponsorships. Before you know it, the NCAA tournament is booming with the powers of CBS behind them. And hey, 40 years later, it's for the championship. But I still love and respect the roots of college hoops, and the NIT is still special to me. I will touch on those games a little later. Again, I got 3 bets for you. I'm gonna open the show today talking NCAA tournament for sure. I'm gonna talk line movements, lines that have been moving, or the lack thereof. Why are these lines moving? Why are lines not moving? The biggest line move I've seen is BYU and Tennessee. Both of those have moved 3 points since open. A lot of these other games moved 1 or 2 points, and some haven't moved at all, which kind of mind boggles me. You think Iowa State would be more of a bet, but maybe that line is just sharp and people staying away from it. 16 and a half. Iowa State, South Dakota State. Excuse me. This is a morning show. Man, woke up with a headache. Also, I'm going to talk some styles today. Some stylistic fights going down. Got a few matchups here where it's the complete opposite. Both of these teams trying to do something different. South Carolina, Oregon, Morehead State, Illinois, Clemson, New Mexico, Auburn, Yale. I will jump into some of these stylistic fights historically, what you should be looking for. Now, I'm not one of those guys that says, well, 80% of the time, the teams that slow it down win. I don't trust that. I'm not saying you're wrong. I just don't know the scale of which you are measuring. Is that all going all the way back to 1804? Or is that just going back the last 5, 10 years? Um, anyway, also, I talked Sweet 16 yesterday. I will talk Elite 8. Got some great value bets here for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ah, excuse me. 9 of them for the Elite Eight today. Man. Kind of doing some renovations on the house. Uh, Painting the hallway and living room yesterday. Body is sore. It's crazy how you could work even in manual labor and be fine. And then it's like as soon as you move different muscles, how much you really feel it. And also, you got a new air and heating, HVAC. This man, whoever set it up, woke up, it was 60 degrees in my house. The heater blows cold air, and the air blow heater. Had to figure that out. I got the air on 62 right now. Blowing hot. Feels like the heat on 80. But anyway, let's jump into it, baby. It's Captain by a Hook with the red beard, presented by Stare Down Sports. I am Rowan Donaghy, aka Rowan Dobbs, going live on a beautiful, fantastic Tuesday, the 19th of March. My favorite time of the year. March, baby. It is crazy how things are lining up this year. Of course, last year we had the lockout in baseball, so it pushed it back a little bit. But it's wild to me that Sweet 16 and opening day are the same day. Usually we get the madness last weekend. Feels like it's a week late. I'm not complaining. It's just crazy to me that next week baseball starts. Love it. I love it, man. Anyway, let's jump into some of these line movements that's going on. Howard, Wagner, games going on tonight. Opened pretty even, 1.5, I think. Now Howard's favored by 3.5. Seems to be the popular pick. The total sitting at 128.5. Yikes. It's going to be a bruiser. Speaking of bruisers, Colorado State and Virginia. Colorado State getting the most of the money tonight. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Everybody hates Virginia. Everybody hates Michigan State. Everybody hates Florida Atlantic. These are 3 teams that you don't want to play. Virginia, Michigan State, and Florida Atlantic could all be in your Sweet 16. Just saying. Don't get caught up in all the hype and BS about they shouldn't be there. So I'm fading them. Trust me, this Colorado State Virginia game is going to come down to the last possession. And if Virginia could make free throws, they wouldn't even be in this position. Also, North Carolina State wouldn't even be in this game, in this tournament. Virginia blew free throws at the end of the game. They went to overtime and won. I forget who that was against. Boston College. And then they blew free throws against North Carolina State. North Carolina State comes down and hits a March Madness like buzzer beater 3, sends it to overtime, and wins. But don't get it twisted. Virginia is to be respected. At least I think so. I've been screaming for them to get in the tournament all season. Tomorrow you got Grambling, Montana State. That line's also ballooned to 3.5. Montana State's way. Just to be clear, I'm not betting Virginia. I would. I just happen to love Colorado State. Oh, guess what? I also really like Virginia. Don't see a side in this game that's truly advantage. Colorado State minus 2.5. Like I said, this game's coming down to the last possession. 65-64 is the type of game I'm expecting. I love Isaiah Stevens. Nothing would make me happier than to see Isaiah Stevens get some kind of media run as these Cinderella teams do. I would love for Colorado State to win this game, then beat Texas, just for that young man alone. Also, shout out to the coach, Nico Medved, for Colorado State. But Virginia has a special place in my heart. I'm staying away from this game also because it can go either way. I don't bet on coin tosses. If I don't feel like I have a 65, 62 or more percent chance of winning, I'm not betting a game I think can go either way. It's dumb. People are like, oh, you say you like Virginia, but you won't bet them. Yeah. Have you seen Colorado State play? Not a bad team. Not a bad team at all. Michigan State getting a lot of money on the money line. It's ballooned up to 126. I believe it was a pick 'em. BYU, the one I talked about earlier. Pretty sure it opened 6.5, 7.5 for sure. I know it opened because I remember it hit 8.5 and it moved. Now it's at 9.5. BYU taking some money over Duskeny. I like it. I think BYU's the right side. I was afraid to bet them minus the 6.5 though. 9.5. It's crazy to me, but I like it. You know what other team I like at 9.5? Alabama. I like them in single digits. I forget who they even play off the top of my head, but they play Charleston. But yeah, Creighton also taking a little bit of money. It's weird because I like Akron plus the points. I think Creighton wins this game by about 8. 12.5 just feels like a lot. I haven't bet this game at all yet. Like I said, I got 9 bets. Probably will place about 11 more or so just for Thursday and Friday. Of course, Saturday and Sunday will probably be another 32 games. Bet 20 of them, and then that drops down to 16 games. Probably have 10 bets Saturday and Sunday, maybe 12. Hell, I might bet them all, depending on how Thursday and Friday went. Arizona, this is the line movement that kind of broke my heart. Because I wanted to get on an Arizona blanks 19.5, but I was kind of hoping it would go to 18.5. That's dumb. I know. Long Beach State, let's be honest. But long story short, I missed the 19.5. Now it's a juiced 20 in the hook at the book I'm looking at. Um, love Arizona in this game. I wish I could have got the 19.5. That was like the one bet that didn't make it into my original bets. I was gonna wait for it, see how the public played it. Um, I also, when I first jumped into this bracket, I was just doing spreads. I got a lot of over under bets, 6 of them. Probably give those out today. Those over and under bets that I like. Probably close the show with that. Kentucky taking some money. They're playing Oakland. They're now up to 13.5. Sat at 12.5 for the last 2 days. Um, man, I wish Kentucky's defense was better. I would trust them with 13.5. And I mean, they probably win this game by 30. It's March, baby. It's Kentucky. That's how I feel about Duke. I don't really like Duke. I think Vermont has a chance to upset them, but then again, I forget the number, but it's Duke minus like a low number. I'll get to them in a minute. Um, but Kentucky, man, taking some money up to 13.5 now. It's juiced. You might see a 14.5 by tip off. The thing about these numbers, man, it's March Madness. It's like the Super Bowl. You get volume betters, not always the smartest betters. Um, the one funny thing about this day and age is the people kind of going viral. The lock of the year. Um, so you get a crazy wave of people on like a certain 6 bets for March Madness, and then you can really come in and fade the public. Uh, it's one of my favorite things to do around this time of the year. I take a lot of dogs last second. I'll wait till 5 minutes before the tip. I bet on my favorite Sunday night, and I got some great lines. And I'll talk about those in a second. But I might come back and take some of these dogs. May even try to middle some of these games. I mean, I got some opportunities. I got a few games that I bet that's moved three points already. McNeese and Gonzaga. The spread's holding steady. It was 6.5 at one point. It's kind of dropped to 5.5. But the money line is where I see the big movement. Opens at like 230, drops to 220. Right now it's at 205. I wouldn't be surprised if I tip McNeese was like 180, 190. This line drops down to 4.5. And I'm gonna be honest with you. As much as I love McNeese State, I've been rooting for them all year. I've been betting them all year. And I've been screaming. I'm betting them first round no matter what. If this thing gets to 4.5, I'm touching Gonzaga minus the 4.5. But the bet I do like in this game, this is one of those overs I like. Uh, I got it at over 148. It's also moved. It's the only over that has moved. I think a lot of these totals start moving soon. Um, but I still like 149 in the hook. I think this game gets into the 150s. I got 152, so I took the 148. I still like 149. I mean, I take it up to 151 in the hook. 151 in a hook, hook, hook. They both like to run. They gonna run. I can see this game being 86-75 easily. Now, this is a game that intrigues me because of the opposite reason. For some reason, nobody's betting Iowa State. And my first thought when I saw this game was Iowa State ain't beating nobody by 20. The funny thing is, the most recent thought we have of Iowa State is beating the number one team in the nation by 30. I think a lot of people are giving Houston the credit for that loss. That's saying Houston didn't show up. Iowa State has beat Houston twice now. First game wasn't by 30. They beat him by, I think it ended up being 4, but it was like a 1 point game, 30 seconds left, missed shot, free throws, whatever, whatever. But 16.5, man, it's starting to intrigue me more and more. And I think that's because nobody's on. Sometimes I like that. In this viral day and age, we get some dumbasses that just have a following because they know how to use social media and they spread bad bets. And that's why there's so many losers in this space. We hear it every day, even at the top level, listening to the actual radio where people get paid to give out bets. They're just losers. It's not their fault. They're football betters. I just like making fun of guys like that. They haven't talked about March. They haven't talked college basketball once on these 2 radio shows I watch. Once. All of a sudden last week, it's like, all right, we're taking. Bro, I don't give a damn who you taking. And they openly admit, well, I know nothing about North Carolina, but I'm gonna take Duke. Get the hell out of my face. Anyway, Iowa State, that's one of the bets I like because it hasn't really moved. I didn't like it at open. The more it stays at 16.5, the more I like it. Tennessee, St. Peter's. This has one of the biggest movements, and it's kind of scary. I jumped on Tennessee at 18.5. It's now up to 21.5. Tennessee has beaten some teams pretty bad this year. I do think they cover this, even this 21.5. But man, I'm glad I got the 18.5. One of those games I am glad I did not wait on. This one in Auburn. Although that Auburn game scares the hell out of me. I think them Yale boys can keep it close. But Auburn just hasn't really been the best covering team for me personally the last 2 or 3 weeks. Get them 7.5. They win by 7. Been that type of thing with Auburn. Bet against them in the championship. Took Florida. They tapped that ass by 30. So me and Auburn just kind of got a weird beef, but I'm on them. NC State took some money. It's opened at 5.5. It is now plus 4.5 on North Carolina State. The money line dropped from 190 to 160. Still like NC State there. but I think that's one of those viral bets that's gonna get upset. I'm on NC State plus the 5.5, but I think Texas Tech is gonna win that game by about 3. It's gonna be a lot of NC State money line bettors upset. I think Kansas, they dropped, actually opened 8.5, dropped to 7.5. I love it. I love the fade Kansas movement. I will say this: I'll probably take that 7.5 on Kansas this first round against Samford. And I'm not going to say because it's Kansas. I'm going to tell you that at this time of the year, the better teams usually win. And no matter how bad Kansas has been in Big 12 play, taking on Samford, you got to draw the line somewhere. At some point, Samford shouldn't be in the conversation with Kansas. The number I have in this game is 13, so it's pretty much cut in half with the 7.5. I feel like I gotta take it. It's like in the middle of 12 and 13, but it's closer to 13 for sure than 12. I don't know. Rumor has it they're going to be fully healthy on Thursday night. Uh, I think they got one of the best point guards in the country, DeJuan Harris. They just have zero scorers. But I mean, I think KJ Adams has a great game. He's the emotional guy. I think he gets hot. I don't know how healthy McCullers would be, but somebody needs to step up on the wing. Hunter Dickinson, I kind of wish he'd just get the hell up on out of there. He kind of holds them back. But hey, they're gonna need him. This is another total I like. Drake and Washington State. This is gonna be a fun game to end Thursday with. Whoever wins this game, I like them to go on a little run. Go moving to Friday's games. Talking line movement right here on Captain via Hook. This is one that keeps going back and forth. You got San Diego State. This is one of the stale lines I got. I got 7.5 on them. I took 7.5. A few hours later, I saw 6.5. A few hours later, it was back to 7.5. This is one of those teams that's kind of getting hurt by the viral sensation that is. I saw a bunch of people tweeting out their ATS record. That wasn't against UAB. That was against Mount West teams. Just saying. But I think a lot of people on UAB strictly because of the viral hate San Diego State's getting. Everybody's talking about they're overhyped because of their last tournament run. This team is not overhyped. It's one of the best teams in the country. San Diego State has one embarrassing loss, and that was at New Mexico. Uh, I wish I got the 6.5, but I am happy as hell with 7.5. The number I have on this game is 10.5. So anything under single digits, I'm all over San Diego State. Um, I don't know. It's just crazy to me that it keeps going back and forth, 6.5, 7.5. It's like the squares are like, UAB. 6.5, and the sharps are like, y'all boys tripping. Move it back to 7.5. I love when games like that just keep going back and forth. New Mexico opened 1.5. It's been sitting at 2.5 pretty strongly. I thought James Madison would be a popular pick. Turns out New Mexico is the most popular pick. Shout out to them, man. And Jalen House, one of my favorite players' sons, Jamal Mashburn Jr. For those that don't know who Jamal Mashburn Sr. is, that boy was a mid-range assassin. One of the best players I've ever seen play live. One of my favorite teams. Of course, this is bringing me back to my youth. Baron Davis at point guard, one of the best point guards in the nation, in the world. Look up Baron Davis highlights, and then look up Jamal Mashburn highlights. And boys was nasty. But at the 2, they had David Wesley. PJ Brown was at the 4. Jamal McGlure was at the 5. Yeah. That's when the Charlotte Hornets became the New Orleans Hornets. Boys was nice, man. I had a Jamal Mashburn jersey as a kid for sure. Wanted the Baron Davis one, but I got the Mashburn one. Anyway, Auburn opened at 11.5. That's where I got it. It's sitting at 12.5 now against Yale. Part of me, I want this thing to get to 14-15. I know it's not. But if I could get Yale 14-15, get a middle opportunity. The one thing about Auburn is, though, they've beaten everybody they've beaten by double digits. That's the good thing. Turkey dog whooping people. Think like 90 something percent of their games they won by double digits. Bad news is, and they kind of proved this wrong in the SEC tournament. Auburn's been that home court team all year. The home court, road court splits kind of oogly boogly, but just won the SEC tournament, neutral site tournament the whole way through, and Turkey Dog whooped Florida. So I do like Auburn to probably do the same thing to Yale. The thing about Yale is they're gonna slow it down. They're gonna backdoor you to death. They're gonna set screens in places you've never seen the screen set before. So as a defense, you just got to be alert and ready to rotate and move and cover the back door. You're gonna have to be ready to help on that weak side too, because you probably won't even be looking, and it's gonna be three screens over here. All of a sudden, somebody gonna be wide open under the basket. You gotta be ready on that weak side wing to shoot off and help. Um, Duke 11.5. I like the over, and this over's dropping. I get it. Vermont's a slow walking team. Ain't no way in hell this game ends up 68-65. But I think even if it did end up 68-65, it'll be going over. That's 133. The total's 131.5. All over this over. Cannot bet this over enough. Give a damn what Vermont's going to do. Duke, as soft as they are, they're going to put up at least 70. All I need Vermont to do is keep it close. And if Vermont does lose, that's the thing. It's such a low total, and the spread is 12, 11.5. So you're telling me it's going to be 131 and an 11.5 game? So what you're telling me is Duke's going to win this game 60-45? Hell no. Duke ain't got the defense for that. Vermont putting up at least 60, Duke putting up at least 70. I don't know why this total's so low. But hey, 70 and 60, do the math. 130. I love this total. 131.5. I can't believe it's dropping. Talked about Alabama earlier. It's kind of been sitting at 9.5. Houston, they're taking money, rightfully so. Went from 23.5 to 24.5 against the Longwood Lancers. I'm on them at 23.5. This one is actually going opposite of me. I thought I was going to get a better number on Wisconsin. Opened at 4.5. Money's going to Wisconsin. Which Wisconsin are we getting? They look like trash. Half of the games, they looked amazing in the other half. James Madison, a 30-win team. They know how to score. They know how to win. Somehow Wisconsin's getting all the money. -5.5. This is going to be one of those games I'm watching, depending on how the line moves from here. Because it looks like we got the sharp money on it. I'm waiting for the 12 seed betters to come in and hammer this on Thursday, Friday. Move this line down to 3.5, and then I'll jump on Wisconsin at 3.5. But if it stays 5.5, 6.5, I might have to jump on James Madison. I think even if Wisconsin does win, it'll be a close one. think 5 is about right. I think it'll be 5 or under. Utah State opened at 3.5. I took it at 3.5. It's now sitting at 2.5 over TCU. Utah State is one of the most dangerous teams I see in this tournament that nobody is talking about. I mean, it moved to plus 2.5, which means a lot of people are on it. But I'm on Utah State, and I'll talk about them going to the Elite Eight here in a second. But I am on them heavy in this game, and I will be on them even heavier against Purdue in the second round. I cannot wait for that Sunday matchup, Utah State and Purdue. The last game, Grand Canyon. A lot of money on St. Mary's coming in. This line moved from 4.5 to 5.5. Total sitting at 131 in the hook. St. Mary's is probably the slowest, most malicious team. Meticulous, not malicious. Malicious means mean. I'm talking slow pace, meticulous, plan everything out. They're definitely going to keep this game low scoring. But trust me, every chance Grand Canyon gets to run, they will be running. Long rebounds, the few turnovers they get, even off a scored basket, I think they're going to try and run. That's going to be a fun game to watch Friday night. I'm so geeked, man. We got 4 days of college hoops coming up. 4 days. Speaking of what I was just speaking of, let's talk a little bit. I'm not going to spend too long on it. Already kind of at my limitito. When I started this show, it was just going to be a 30-minute show. Get in, get out. Nobody gets hurt. This is Captain by a hook, baby. Talk some difference in styles. And then I want to talk Elite Eight bets, yes or no. And then I'll give out the totals that I like for Thursday and Friday. And then, of course, like I said earlier in the show, I do have 3 bets in the NIT tonight. I don't have anything on the tournament games. If you go back and listen, I spent about 5 minutes talking Colorado State and Virginia. Howard and Wagner just have no interest in betting wise. But I do have 3 NIT bets for tonight. This is gonna be a great NIT turn. I know y'all don't want to watch NIT basketball, and I never understood why. I've always watched the NIT, especially on the Tuesday and Wednesday nights that the tournament's not going on. Love the NIT. Love what they're doing. Love the bracket this year. All the teams y'all crying that's not in the big tournament, guess what? They in the NIT. You can still watch them in tournament basketball. It's just not in your precious March of Madness, which I don't know. I don't know why the NIT gets such a bad rep. Think about it. The best 68 teams, quote, unquote, to go to this tournament. Well, that's false from the jump. Because it's not the best 68 teams. It's 32 conference winners, championship conference tournament winners, who, as we've seen, is not the best teams in the nation. You got about 20 teams in here that shouldn't be in here. But guess what? They earned it. They won 4 in a row, 5 in a row, 2 still. Longwood, North Carolina State. You want some big names? Duquesne. Who else? Long Beach, Moorhead. I mean, South Dakota State. A lot of these teams were not tournament teams before they won their conference tournament. This is not the 68 best teams. Just want to start off there. 20 of the best teams in the country are in the NIT right now. Yes, those teams that you're crying aren't in the tournament. Providence, Seton Hall, Indiana State. They're in the NIT. I don't know why people don't. I'm not watching the NIT. Hell, that ain't the championship. It's March. It's a tournament. It's college kids putting it all on the line. It's seniors who will never play again, getting one more chance to play. It's coaches getting another chance to coach. Maybe they got a group of some young players they're trying to develop. This is some more in-game opportunities. Anyway, I get it. It's all about social media these days. It's got to be cool, right? Got to be name brand, huh? Got to be name brand, huh? Anyway, I'm getting off my rocker. I don't know if I'm gonna talk anything specific in this segment, any games specifically. There's about 10 games that fit this criteria. You get a slow-paced team, usually scores about 65, 49. Nah, I'm playing. And then you got these fast-paced teams that score 88, 92 on a regular. And now they're running into each other. This is the old adage, the old question, the old analytical game. Each team gets 30 seconds. Shot clock. Does it really give a slower team the advantage? Yeah, you can sit there and dribble for 22 seconds and then run a set, getting one shot. It's kind of helping the defense. They got to guard for longer, which is tiring them out. I get that. But on the weak side, they kind of relax. Also, it is helping them hold teams to one shot. All you got to do is know they're going to waste some time. They're going to get a good shot off. All we got to do is contest. They make a contested shot, good for them. Hats off. But when that one shot goes up, box the out. Grab the board. Now you can run. Hold them to one shot. And the other thing I think about it, the slow-paced teams, I like them. I'm not saying this. I hate the point of view that the slow-paced team has an advantage. The advantage it does have is and there's a happy medium. You never want to start running at your other team's at your opponent's pace. But even slow teams will want to do a fast break every now and then. So now, if you're overly conscious about no, we're slowing it down every time, you're gonna miss out on 8 to 12 points in the fast break game. You're gonna miss out on the momentum of the game. And analytically, say a team shoots 42 shots a game. Out of those 42 shots, they shoot 43%. Then you got another team that shoots 65 shots a game. And that team shoots 38%. What would you rather? Personal question. What would you rather? A team that takes 42 shots and makes 43% of them. That team made 18 shots. Of course, they'll get to the free throw line. 18 shots. You're looking at about 55 to 65 points. Then you got another team that takes 62 shots at 38%. That team made 23 shots. Now, analytics isn't always what it's cracked up to be. You're looking at the analytics, you're like, oh, this team shoots 43%. This team shoots 38%. This team slows the ball down. They're going to get better quality shots. Look at a team like Alabama, Kentucky. They'll miss 8 shots in a row in like that. They don't care. It's the new age thinking is volume over, and it started with Steph Curry. 3-point shooters used to go 1 for 3, 2 for 4, 2 for 5. Now it's like, let's go 6 for 20. I'm just saying. Like I said, a lot of people are on Morehead State because of the difference in styles. Illinois is going to run. You're not going to stop them from running. You can slow it down all you want. As soon as they get the ball, they running. Terrence Shannon Jr. don't care if it's 1-on-4. He's getting to the rack. And in this day and age, he's getting fouled. You can't guard. And that's kind of why basketball is turning into what it's turning into. There's no way to guard somebody coming downhill full court, full speed. Take the charge. They're going to Euro step around you. You jump at all, even if you go straight up, they hitting you in the chest, and now you automatically putting your hands down and one. 70 to 80% of the time, somebody just drives with a purpose, they're getting a foul. Or you're going to get the hell out the way and they're going to get a layup. And Terrence Shannon Jr. for Illinois knows that the best. He's the one player I've seen take advantage of it the best. No matter what. I've seen him 1-on-4, 1-on-3, 1-on-1, 1-on-2. He's not stopping. He's going to the goal. South Carolina, Oregon. Oregon's going to try and rip and run. South Carolina's going to slow it down. I don't think the style has anything to do with the game results. Both teams are going to come out and try to do their thing at the best, at the highest level. You know what it comes down to? Shot making, defense, rebounding. Oh, and the most important thing of all, make your damn free throws, kids. If you defend at a high level, make some damn tough shots here and there, rebound the basketball, and make your free throws, probably going to win the game. Probably going to win the game. It's that simple. You put the ball in the hole. And the team that does that the most wins. Let's talk some Elite Eight. Man. The more I talk about it, the more excited I get. The more I talk about it, the more excited I get. We're here on Captain by a Hook, baby, breaking down the madness from all angles. I'm talking March, baby. Let's look at this Elite Eight. Just like I did yesterday, I gave you about 21 teams. I'm not going to talk every team's odds or chances to win the Elite Eight. That was 21 teams for the Sweet 16. I got 9 teams for the Elite Eight. Oh, well, this guy's realistic. I've seen so many places, people, 12 teams for the Final Four. It's like, bro, yeah, you just hoping you get lucky. I'm trying to hit about 6 of these 9. You feel me? But anyway, starting off with Baylor. Baylor is like my third favorite team to win it all. Love Baylor. I love that they're not getting the love that they deserve. Um, Tough path as far as you got to play New Mexico or Clemson in the next round. Colgate's even a tough team. Historically, we've seen them upset some people. And then after that, you're probably running into Nevada or Arizona or even Dayton. And then at the top of your bracket, you got Alabama and North Carolina and Michigan State waiting for you. So they do have a tough road to hoe, as farmers say. But I like Baylor. Plus 320. This is probably where I'll draw the line on them. Yeah, I didn't even take them for Sweet 16. I don't think the number was juicy enough. But I do like this plus 320 to make the Elite Eight on Baylor. Plus 320 to make the Elite Eight. And I was saying with yesterday, some of these long shot lines are just that long shot lines that have about a 3 to 10% chance to come through. But I think whoever wins this Washington State and Drake game is making a run. I'm gonna sprinkle a little something on Drake to be that team. I like Drake against Washington State. Now, haven't bet it. I like the over in this game the most. I believe it is 138 and a half. It is still 138 and a half. That's my favorite play in this Washington State Drake game. I think this is. I cannot wait for this game. This is the perfect game to end Thursday with. Um, I wish it was flipped as far as first game, last game. I wish Michigan State, Mississippi State was the last game, and Drake Washington was the first game. Drake and Washington State is going to be a March Madness, the embodiment of March Madness in the game. But Drake is 1,200 plus 1,200 plus 12 to 1 to win. To win. To go to the Elite Eight. I always know once I hit 46, 45 minutes, I'm like, Drake plus 1,200 to make the Elite Eight. Hey, I think they can go on a run. Iowa State, I think Drake could be the perfect team to upset them. I think Washington State could be the perfect team to upset them. Like I said, Washington State or Drake, whoever wins that game, I think is going on a run. After that, you have a pretty easy. I mean, Iowa State, excuse me, it's really the only challenge in my head. You play an Illinois team that's our BYU team, or Morehead State. I'm not sure Illinois even gets through to that Sweet 16, but yeah, I'm really. This is to me. This is me saying Drake plus 1,200 to beat Iowa State. That's how I feel about it. UConn. This is going to be a funny one. This is kind of just me fading the back-to-back team. UConn, no, they will not make the Elite Eight. It's plus 130. Not even a huge play. It's just, will they win 3 games in this tournament? Possibly. I'm willing to fade them. There's 2 teams I think can get them. I think the winner of Northwestern, Florida Atlantic, I think Northwestern gets blown out by UConn. But if Florida Atlantic wins that game, I think Florida Atlantic has a chance to beat UConn. We've seen them be giant killers earlier this year. They've played some good games against some good teams. And then, of course, there's Auburn or San Diego State, 2 of the better defending teams. I think San Diego State would have the best chance against UConn. Uh, I'm just going to fade UConn. They might still be my bracket championship winner. But plus 130, I think it'll just be fun to root against UConn. I'll probably even bet UConn every game. But plus 130 for them not to make the Elite Eight. This is the Elite Eight. I definitely think they make the. Well, I don't even know if I definitely think it. It's just this is what happens. It's the madness. 1 seeds go down. You never see it coming. It's not like you're gonna agree. Like, oh yeah, I could see that. No, you never see it coming. Nobody saw Purdue losing last year. Nobody saw Arizona losing to Princeton. Nobody saw Villanova losing to Wisconsin in 2018, 2019, whatever year that was. They don't see it happening. That's why it's the madness. I'm gonna take plus 130 that some maddening stuff happens. Moving on to Gonzaga. Plus 470. Yes, to make the Elite Eight. Gonzaga. I think they beat McNeese State. I think they beat Kansas. What does that leave them? Utah State on my bracket. I think Utah State is guaranteed to beat Purdue. That's my upset lock of the century. That's Franklin Earl, a Beard Winnington's second round bet. Utah State money line. That's a joke for those who are fans of the show. But give me Gonzaga. Plus 470 to make the Elite Eight. You beat McNeese State. You get Kansas. Think they're a way better team than Kansas. That leaves you Purdue or Utah State. If Purdue does escape Utah State, I like Gonzaga for that upset. Plus 470. Wow. This should be more like plus 200 if you ask me. This is probably my favorite one to make the Elite Eight is Gonzaga plus 470. Iowa State plus 152. It's kind of contradicting the Drake pick. However, plus 152 for a 2 seed to make the Elite Eight. I'll ride with it. It's gonna probably be the only bet I have on Iowa State. If they, I'll probably be fading them all tournament too. So this would be like get my money back. Hopefully, and I'm not fading them South Dakota, but I'll probably fade them with Drake or Washington State. But if they win that, I'll probably bet on them against Illinois. So I don't know. I'm like back and forth with Iowa State. I don't know. Can't fully get behind them. There's a few teams in this tournament I like, but I just can't fully get behind them. Tennessee's one of them. It's like the history, the past. Rick Barnes in March. Iowa State in March. Well, we've never seen Iowa State win a damn thing. All of a sudden they're supposed to be whatever they're supposed to be. But anyway, I got them plus 152, yes, to make the Elite Eight. Four more teams. I'll run through them kind of quickly. Kentucky, I just think Kentucky has the easiest road. Outside of Marquette, I don't really think any team in this bottom of the bracket is going to give them any troubles. I think they take care of Oakland easily. I think they take care of NC State or Texas Tech easily. And then they run into Marquette. Yeah, plus 260 for Kentucky to beat Marquette. That's what I feel like I'm betting here. Give it to me. North Carolina. This is just another like Iowa State. This is a 1 seed. They're plus 190. They're my fourth favorite team to win it all. Howard Wagner, easy in the first round, like most 1 seeds have it. Then Mississippi State or Michigan State. It's gonna be a tough one. I'll probably bet Michigan State if they get there. If it's Mississippi State, I'm taking UNC minus the points. And then after that, you run to probably Alabama, maybe St. Mary's. Hey, maybe GCU gets there. I don't see any of those teams really being trouble. Of course, they can beat North Carolina, but I don't see them being trouble. I definitely see North Carolina being the favorite. So if I can bet them right now plus 190, I'm not going to find that value in the second or the third round. Two more. I got every bet you can get on South Carolina. I got South Carolina Thursday, minus 1.5. I got South Carolina plus 360 to go to the Sweet 16. I got South Carolina plus 2,000 to go to the Final Four. I got South Carolina plus 8,000 to win the championship. Give me South Carolina plus 1120. 11.2 to 1. 11 to 1 plus 1,120. How many times can I say a number differently? Plus 1,100 for South Carolina. Yes, to make the Elite Eight. If South Carolina falls early, F me. Huh? But I'm going to ride them. I do love Oregon. I've been rooting for Oregon all season to make it to the tournament. This is why I hate this bracket. Because I've been rooting for McNeese State and they get Gonzaga. I've been rooting for South Carolina and Oregon and they play each other. It's like, damn. But give me South Carolina plus 1,100. Yes, to make the Elite Eight. Utah State is the last team I have there. This kind of contradicts the Gonzaga one. But like I said, Franklin Earl, Beard Winnington guarantees Utah State is beating Purdue in the second round. That means you get to a position where you got Utah State plus 1,600, or I think Gonzaga is going to be that other team there. I think you end up with a chance to just Utah State wins, you win plus 1,600. Gonzaga wins, you win plus 470, which will cover the Utah State bet plus 200. So yeah, I'm gonna play Utah State plus 1,600. Yes, to make the Elite Eight. Madness papers everywhere. Um, where we at? 55 minutes. I did promise y'all my overs. Just trying to think. I could just give you my NIT bets and get the hell on up out of here. But a promise is a promise. It's captained by a hook, baby, with the red beard. Let me give you the totals that I'm betting for Thursday and Friday. Still haven't given you my sides completely. If you watch and listen to the show, I've given out a few here and there by accident. Sorry, kicked my mic stand and started shaking. Um, but I'll give you my totals. I like these a lot. I've been hot on overs all season. Um, let's start it off with Illinois, Morehead State. Give me over 146 and a half. Everybody talks about how much Morehead State's going to slow this game down. You're not slowing Illinois down. Illinois is going to drop 85 in this game. And guess what? Illinois' defense whew, smells like ramen noodles you left in the microwave overnight. Dang! The shrimp flavor. Morehead State's going to be right there with them. This game is going to be 90 to 85. Uh, over 146 easily. I got to get into the 150s, high 150s, like almost getting to 160, 162. A few of my simulations and numbers have it at 162, 163. Most of them have it around 157. 146, way too low. And now I could be wrong. I very much could be wrong. I didn't take all the people on Twitter's cute little charts and advice on how Morehead State's gonna slow it down and rubbish it up. I know they're not. It's Illinois. Go get a bucket. Go play defense. So I like that one a lot. Uh, Gonzaga. Talked about this one earlier in McNeese State. They're gonna be running and shucking and jobbing. I got this at 152. It's 149. I bet it at 148. Right now it's 149. I like it up to 150 in the hook, give you a little room. 151 in the hook still might be a bet. Like I said, my number is 152. Uh, as far as where this game will end up. My favorite over, second favorite over. This might be my favorite over, just because I'm excited to watch the game. I think there's another over that's more guaranteed than this betting wise, which I've already talked about, but I'll still give it out. But this is going to be the most entertaining game I think to watch. Drake, Washington State. Can't pick a side. It's a pick 'em on the money line. It's 1.5 on the spread. What I like is the over. Give me over 138. Anything under 141. I like the over in this game. Drake and Washington. I think it gets up there. Definitely think this is another game that gets into the 150s. While I'm talking, it's really just moved to a pick'em. It was 114, 105, minus 1.5 on the spread. Now it's minus a hook or plus a hook, and it is minus 110 on both money lines here. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better game. Drake and Washington State. That's the one game this committee got right. Boy, that's gonna be a good one. I like the over 138 in the hook. Three more overs, and then I get to my NIT bets, and then I get the hell on up out it. You feel me? Um, Northwestern taking on Florida Atlantic. That's the first game on Friday. Give me over 141 and a hook. Northwestern is kind of a what's it called? When a team can't score and there's boo booey scores. Oh, trash. That's it. They're not a slow team. They're just a low scoring team because they stink. They shoot volume shots. They just shoot low percentage. They're going to be running. Hopefully they're hot. Florida Atlanta's going to be running. I think Florida Atlanta's going to be putting up buckets. I like Florida Atlantic in the game. I also love the over 141 and a hook. Northwestern and Florida Atlantic. It's weird because I know Florida Atlanta's going to get buckets. So I want Florida Atlanta to win, but I'm going to bet the over and be rooting for Northwestern because they're the ones I need to get buckets. Florida Atlantic's going to get the buckets. I need Northwestern to step up here and do their part of the 141. Give me 65, Northwestern. Florida Atlanta get the other 75. 65, 75. I still need a bucket. That's only 140. Give me 68, Northwestern. Just give me 68. Anyway, UConn, Stetson. This is a risky one, but I got this game ending up 90-60. And by 90-60, I mean 92-68. Oh, that's 150, by the way. Give me over 145 in a hook. UConn routes Stetson in one of those oogly boogly 30 to 40 point games. It might even hit 105-70. This game's going over though for sure. UConn's not gonna waste time running the clock out. They're just gonna hoop. Once they go up 30, they're gonna put the backups in and they're gonna go out there and hoop too. Um, and now this is my favorite one. People think Vermont's gonna hold Duke to 55 points. Talking about this one earlier. I'm not gonna go too deep into it. Give me the over. Duke in Vermont over 131 in day hook. Honestly, it might be my favorite bet of the whole damn first 2 days. Uh, sheesh, that's hilarious. Where we at? Man, let's give out these NIT bets. I go over these overs real quick on Captain by a hook. You got UConn 145.5, Gonzaga 148.5, Illinois 146.5, Drake 138.5, Northwestern 141.5, and Duke 131 and the hook. Let's jump up to this NIT. I'm not gonna break it down games I'm not betting on, although I would love to. There's some great games tonight. Xavier, Georgia, North Texas, LSU, Richmond, Virginia Tech, Butler, Minnesota, Kansas State, Iowa, South Florida, UCF, Utah, and UC Irvine. Guess what? The games get even better tomorrow, but I'll talk about those games. Mañana, bunch of games I love. You got UNLV, Princeton, VCU, Nova. The Dons of San Francisco versus Cincinnati. Wake Forest, Appalachian State. SMU, Indiana State. That's the team everybody wants to watch, right? Oh, because they're not in the big tournament, you're not going to watch them? You're not going to root for them? Stop out of here. Bunch of soft pansies. Bradley, Loyola Chicago. That's going to be a good one. St. Joseph's and Seton Hall. Couldn't ask for a better slate of basketball games. But tonight, as I promised, I have 3 bets for you in the NIT. Dunk, 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 dunk. I don't know if y'all can hear me beatboxing. Sometimes I feel like this mic don't pick up whistles and stuff. You know what? It's madness, baby. Let's have some damn fun. Hey, somebody, anybody, hit me with the horn. You gotta love it. Franklin. Gotcha. NIT bets, baby, for Tuesday night in college hoops. Let's kick it off. Early game. Give me Providence minus 3.5. They're taking on a Boston College. Give me Providence and Kim English trying to prove a point. Providence minus 3.5. Lovely number on that thing, minus 105. Oh, baby. Oh, boy. While everybody's trying to bet Howard over Wagner, 2 teams they never heard of or watch play, sweating out a monster. I'll be over here making money on Providence, baby. Next bet that I like. Give me Cornell plus the points. Cornell plus double digits against Ohio State. I do think Ohio State wins, but the big red at Cornell, I think they cover it. I think this game is single digits for sure. For sure. I think this game lands under the 10.5. It's Cornell plus 10.5. 10 and a hook. Now there's a few games I like. South Florida plus 4.5. You bet your ass. UC Irvine plus 7 and a hook. I like it. Kansas State plus 5 and a hook. I love it. Butler minus 3. Oh my God. But the third bet of the night. Let's go Tigers. Coach O, baby. LSU minus 2.5. They're taking on the mean green North Texas machine. Give me LSU minus 2.5. That's going to round out my NIT bets. If you want a late game bet, what? Richmond plus 5.5. I'll probably touch that one as well. F it. We're giving out 4 NIT bets. We are having a blast here on Captain by a hook, baby. Providence minus 3.5. Cornell plus 10.5. LSU minus 2.5. And Richmond plus 5 in the hook. Those are the 4 NIT bets for tonight. Tuesday, baby. It's March. The madness is real, baby. Real deal, Holyfield. Anyway, thank y'all for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the love. And thank you for the support. This is Captain by a Hook with the Red Beard, presented by Stare Down Sports. I am Rowan Donaghy, a.k.a. Rowan Dobbs, going live on a fantastic Tuesday. Hey, some people say the madness tips off tonight. I say relax. 2 more days until the madness fully goes wild. Take all these wagers at your own risk and please, please gamble responsibly. I'm tired of y'all wives and girlfriends emailing me that y'all losing all your damn money on these parlays. All I do is write back, parlays are for losers, baby. Dobbs. It's a joke, by the way. I mean, parlays are for losers, but